Video number 7. Okay, let me go back to this. Okay, so I'm looking at how tight things are getting here, and I don't think I can quite make it fit with this dimension. But if I add another couple of, if I move this over 0.2 inches, that might do it, and I can add another 2 connectors. So this is right now a 14 pin connector. If I just bump that to 16, I'm just trying to make sure I use all the space I've got. So what I want to do is take this connector out and throw in a 16. That's a piece of cake. So let me select that one, delete it, add. That's still got that listed on there. And what I want is connector generic, and I want a 16 pin connector this time. Just say okay. And everything lines up, so I can just stick it right there, and that gives me 2 more pins. I think I'm still going to pull the ADC analog to digital converter lines. I'm going to put those to the end still. So let me just go ahead and move these down. And I'm going to make this GPIO 11 and 12. I think that's right. Yep, they're still in line. Okay, so let me go up here. I need to delete those 2. Duplicate this. E key to edit it. There's 11. Duplicate that. Edit that. Okay, so there's 11 and 12. And I need copies of those over there. Duplicate that. Rotate it around. Pin GPIO 12. Okay, that should handle that. Okay, now we got rid of the assignment. So connector is now I need a footprint assignment. So connector pin header 2.54. We did this before, except now we want a 2.54 pin header, 16 pin vertical. Okay, that's good. So now we can zoom that back out. Let's save that, go back to layout, and now if I click the update, and last time I did this, I left the crystal on there. Delete footprints with no symbols. So if I click that one, and then I say update, and then close. So now I have got a new J3 that is massive, and rotate it once to get it close. Now I'm going to put it really kind of close to where it was, and then I got to fix it because I needed to have it right on that specific thing. So I just put my cursor in here somewhere and hit the E key, and now it's 4.096. So what I really want is 4.1 and 4.9. Okay, so that's now exactly where we were before. Okay, I need to move this exactly 0.2 over. I could just set my grid back up in this particular case to 0.1 and then move that. Why are we not? That's not moving like I think it should. 0.1 inch. Okay. See, that's not going how I want it. It's not moving. Let's try this again. Let's try if I do it this way. Okay. I had to pick the end. If I'm picking someplace else, that doesn't make a sense. Okay. And now I can either delete that line and recreate it, edge cuts that line, and I want it from there to there. And hit a bunch of escape keys, get that back out. Okay, so there's my new dimension of the board. Let me zoom to max. And that gives me enough room that I think I can make everything go. You know, when I actually start putting traces in, you know, these are all in a line, so these will be all really easy. Oh, the other thing is I've got these traces coming through, and this capacitor, you know, if I move it to the other side, that might actually be a little more convenient. So let me just move that right now. Oh, I've still got my my zoom to maximum here, or grid size. Let me try that. Much smoother. Okay, so what I want is, I know there's a ground trace that's going to come through here. So let me just do, let me put it down here about there, and then move this guy to about there. I'm going to move the, I'm going to correct the pieces left over that I need to fix yet. Now I've got a switch that needs to go someplace. And this is the button that we hold when we want to boot this thing to the proper mode. Let me flip that around. I want the button at the top. And that actually connects to pin 1 of the memory chip. I'm going to put it up here though. It only needs 1 wire. Now if I can, I don't know if I can make everything fit below this level or not, but I think I'm going to go ahead and draw an edge cut line starting here. And just bring it over a bunch. I'll probably have to redraw that in a bit, but that'll at least get me started. There's the crystal, there's that. The caps. Oh, we've got the programming pins. Let me go ahead and draw a couple more traces in here. Or the edge cuts. I better just go ahead and set this back up again and get this where I need it. Line that, okay. So I want to go from there, I want to go up. And I'm just going to go up further than we want, I think. I'm not, that's okay. So if that's the edge of the board, that's a lot to fit in there yet, but I think we can do it. Okay, so I need, and I'm trying not to, I'm not going to put traces in until I get everything closer to where I want it. Oh, I still got this set at pi again, need to go back low. So here's the LEDs. I'm going to move them down here. So I've got this ground trace that's right on the edge of the board. I'm going to bring this down so it doesn't actually go off the edge. And now the LEDs, you know, one side's already grounded, so if I can sneak them in pretty tight. Where's my other LED? There it is. And again, I can put them pretty close together. Now each of those LEDs has resistors. Which ones are the resistors on the LEDs? That is R10 and R11. So here's R10. And as I move things around, you can see that it's right there. And I can see where it connects, so I can put it right there. Okay. R11. Where's my R11? That's R11. And by moving it around, I can see that rat's nest line that on pin 2 of the resistor goes to the LED where I want it. So we'll just do this manually here and get it pretty close. And I think that'll work. The two 4.7 ohm resistors, 4.7K resistors, are the SDA and SCL lines. Now, those need to connect to, here's SDA and SCL. So if I'm anywhere near that, that should be okay. So let me move those. I'm going to move them just outside the board here so I can zoom in and get them set where I want them. Okay, so SDA is on the left, so that's this guy. And I'm going to rotate it so the SDA line is there. And there's a 3.3 volt line right next to it already. So we can just drop that thing right there. I'm going to bring it up a little bit because I can, just enough so I can get a trace down there really easy. And this guy is the SCL line. I'm going to move it this way. I can come down a little further. Okay. That looks like it'll work. The crystal and these components need to get in a little bit further up. You know, that crystal's not quite square. Let me move it. I'm going to rotate it. I want to make sure those two rat's nest lines that connect to it don't touch or don't cross. And so that could go there. And I've got a resistor that goes, let me go back. So the resistor's off of the pin 3 of the crystal. So let me go back here. And here's this. There's pin 3. You can see that those rat's nest lines cross. Let me rotate that. Let me put it back here then. And there's a capacitor that we may not actually install. Let me take it out, back in. Now I'd like to put it right here. I've got it a little bit tight, so let me just put it here. You know, I think I want to put it in the other slightly other order. So let me just move this down until it's tight. Then I'm going to move the crystal up a little bit and put this cap in place. So now that this signal here goes directly from, because I mean, if I was drawing a trace, it would be, those three are right in a line, so that's really convenient. So let me take this, and now I can move the crystal even closer. And then I've got one more signal cap here, or the crystal cap, and I can put it pretty close on the other side. Okay, that looks good. Oh, we're getting down there. I should be able to make this all fit now. I still got some resistors. Where the heck do those go? Okay, C1, 2, and 3. I bet you those are up here. C1, 2, and 3, and R2. Those are all part of the power supply stuff. So let's get them closer to where they're supposed to go. C1, 2, 3, and R1. Let's just move everything, figure out where it all goes. I don't know if I want to be that close or not. Let me just there's the C1. I'm going to drop it right there. How about R1? Oh, okay, that's an easy one. I'm just going to rotate it, and I'm going to bring it over just a smidge, like that. And the one signal I'm concerned about, that's, oh, this is the regulator output. Let's try it. For the moment, I'm going to put it right there. I don't know if it'll stay or not. That's just 3.3 to ground. So we'll just get that close. Oh, that's the one that goes on the memory chip. I want this one here. Okay, so the pin 1 of the memory chip on this device, when the system boots up, that it actually starts off with the QSPI SS line as an input, and this 10K resistor pulls that line up, and then it's normal execution. But if this button is pressed during power up, when it glances at this pin, it will be low, and then it'll make it a USB thumb drive. The moment after that, you can't just check it with an ohm meter or a voltmeter after power up, because then the QSPI changes to an output, and it drives the whole thing and overrides whatever the button is set at. And this SS line is used for clocking the data, and your actual programs or stuff are stored in this memory chip. So, okay. So that is the memory chip's pin 1, and there's this, and then this eventually has to get up to the switches. So that looks like it'll work. Let me zoom all the way out now. We've got almost everybody in there. Let me just move them closer so I can. Okay, the R2, this one goes basically between pins 1 and 40. It looks like pin 1 or any 3 plus, the 3.3 volt line, which is going to go a lot of places, and pin 43 and C2. So where the heck did we put C2? That's the, here's C2, so I need my R resistor for that. So there's C2, and if I rotate this like this, I could probably drop it right here. So this rat's nest line will just have to go through there. That looks pretty easy. R4 is what? If I select it and then go to the schematic, it takes us right there. That's the 10K pull-up on the pin 1. Okay, so that has to also go in this between here. I wonder if I can make it fit in there and actually work. Okay. Again, if we rotate it, the 3.3 volt looks really easy to hit. And if I put this one here, now I've got a couple of signals that need to go through, but I think I could run those through on the bottom of the board, so that won't be too difficult. Okay, let's see, where are we at now? I need J1. Is that all I need? You know, I don't think it's going to make much difference which way it goes. Okay, so if I put that right here, if I really want these things to line up, let me just edit the, no, that's just the pad. I want the whole thing. Okay, so if I set this at a 1/10 inch center, X is 395, let's go to 4. And the 3.082, that's almost 4.1. Let's go see where that takes us. That doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty decent. Okay, I'm going to delete off that tray, the outside edge for those two. Set my grid back up to massive here, to 0.1. Edge cut layer, draw from there. One back from there. Escape, okay. Now the other one from there, again, one click back from there. Now I want the arc, and it draws, I need the center first, which would be there, from there to there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So my board is now, let's make sure we get this dimension right. I'm 1 inch tall. And 1.7 inch wide. That should work. So I'm going to stop this video here, and then I could start adding traces. But when I have you guys turn in, you know, layout without traces, this is really what I want you to do. I want you to get it to this point so we can, you know, and think through the process. Now, things can move around a little bit once we start putting traces on it, but this is at least, I want you to think through the process of how we're going to get this all to go. Okie doke. That's the end of this video 7.